Rigged MM, RNG, fantasy tanks, too many premium tanks, too many new players with 30 battles rolling out in tier 8 premium tanks. All these are hatreds, but they all pale into comparison when it comes to military honor. The most hated, the most controversial, the most abused, and the most misapplied and misunderstood part of the game. So, how should it be used? Hello again everybody and welcome back to Fujit's Blitz, and today we're going to look at military honor, the good, the bad and the damn right ugly, or a fistful of bull plop. But what is it exactly? Well, it's that little 5 stars that you get there, and you click on this little screen and it tells you how many praises you've had and how many complaints you've received, and it gives you 5 ways to praise a player and 4 ways to actually complain about a player. It was introduced by Wargamer for 2 reasons. Firstly, they haven't got the staff to deal with the flooding complaints that come in, and secondly, to self-govern. And this is what all the stars mean. You go from what's called an impeccable player, which is an ideal player who follows the game rules and is, inspires the others to do things and does everything that you should do on a battlefield, to the absolutely untrustworthy player who basically follows no rules whatsoever and is a complete pain in the rear. Now, we all start off as a disciplined player with 3 stars, and you get to build them and you get to lose them. It all depends how it works. But let's have a look at some of them in more detail. First and foremost, we've got sociable player. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. It even gives you a description. Praise for players who are friendly in the chat. Can't get much more straightforward than that now, can it? So this is me in a battle, and a guy on the other side says, "Hello to me, you're gonna win." That's pretty friendly. I mean, that's a sociable player. And I say hello back, and everybody toodle pips off, and they go, and we go and fight the battle. And, that's how it works. Now, the thing is, there's a fine line between toxic chat and sociable chat and friendly banter. And this is the part that is misunderstood. Now, look, there's an expression in the gaming world of noob, and no matter how many games you've played, no matter what your win rate may be, doesn't matter. People will always call you a noob. It's seen as more banter than offensive. Noob doesn't mean anything nasty. However, the line can be crossed. And the line can be crossed when people start telling various members of your family to go and die from some horrific disease, or they start using foul language and start calling you horrible names. But again, you have to put it into context. The thing about this game is this: you do not know who is playing that tank, and it may be a kid, or it may be somebody with, I don't know, some form of disability, or it may be just a troll. Here we started off friendly. I killed the guy who was friendly to me. He calls me a lucky noob, and then it would appear that he's starting to have a go at me. I took all this as friendly banter. He started off as a sociable guy, and it's just continuing sociably. It's nothing offensive. You may think it's offensive, but I don't think it is. I think this is just normal banter. It's starred out, so whilst he may be swearing, he knows what he's saying is going to be starred out, so it's no big deal. Why would I red thumb him for that? Now, if he then took it out of the game afterwards and started abusing me, that would be a different kettle of fish, but he had no intention of doing that. So this, to me, he's a sociable player. And you know what? I actually thumbed him up for being a sociable player, because I thought he was. Regardless of, and this is the problem with military honor. Military honor is incredibly subjective. That means it all depends on what you, the player, thinks. It's not what the rest of us think, it's what you think. That is subjective. Now, some of them are pretty objective, and I'll point those out. So that's sociable player. Now we're going to move on to team player. This is a player who supports their teammates in battle and acts in the best interest of the team. This again is subjective. So it all depends on what you, the other players, think. This is a friend of mine, Bellatrix Protons of the clan BPS, and she sent me this clip and said, oh, you know, I didn't really set the world on fire, it's just me rolling out on a Mark 6. And the irony is, not all games are going to be aces, not all games are going to be masteries, but games will show other things, such as what I want to show here, and that is teamwork. Now, you may not think that Bellatrix is going to be playing as a team, because here at the moment, as you can see, she's almost on her own. The rest of the team, as you can see in the mini-map, are to the right-hand side. But what she's actually going to do is really help her team. She's stuck herself in a position here whereby if the team pushes, she can take that tank out, and she does. This is teamwork, guys. You know, I mean, she's got the majority of her team pushing from the right, and she's here on the far left of them. Well, it's not the far left, on the left of them, putting shots in and really assisting the team and doing what she can as part of the team. That's teamwork, guys. They're working together as a unit, and she is instrumental in them working together as a unit here. And this is why it's subjective, but you've got to understand in the game what is teamwork and what isn't teamwork. Some people may think, oh, you know, she's gone off on her own again. Look at the mini map. She's nowhere near the team. She's not working as a team. Well, I'm sorry, I disagree, because just because she's out on her own there, she's trying to spot up, and she's going to lay fire down, and she's going to do things that will assist her team. And there you go, look, the team finally, some members of her team finally come along and realise that, yeah, you know, we should be playing together here. And that's the thing, she takes another kill. She's taken 2 kills. This is greatly assisting her team. Now, you could argue that the rest of her team aren't really playing as a team, because they're not trying to support her and they're not trying to back her up. Whereas she is really doing things that absolutely help the team. Here she goes again. She's gone into one of her team members. Okay, she's focusing on a tank that she knows she can kill. She doesn't get the kill shot there, but she's helping her team member, and she's doing what she should in order to do the best for her team. She's now taken 3 kills. There's only 2 reds left, and she's done a lot. In here we go again. She's still helping her team out. This is good teamwork, guys. You may not think it, but it is. She's not going to be able to help the Grilly. You can't save all your team, but what you can do is help your team win the battle. That's kill number 4. And, you know, that's how it works. So Bellatrix there ends up taking 4 kills. She only does 2,700 damage, but she has been instrumental in assisting her team to win this battle. And they do. They win the battle. She gets a 3rd class, but, and this is the important screen here, she was the 2nd best player in her team. That's teamwork. Next, we've got effective player. Now, effective players are those who show strong skills in good battle results. And again, it's subjective, but it shouldn't be realistically, because you should be able to see that all those players who come top of the list with, you know, doing the most kills or doing this or doing that, they're either a team player or they're an effective player. Now, this is a good friend of mine, the Silent One Reborn, rolling out in the Grilly 15. And this is a fantastic game. He's already done 2,300 damage. He's already taken 1 kill. He is going to be instrumental in this game. And he is going to show how to play a Grilly. He's going to use all his skills, all his know-how, all his knowledge that he's acquired in Blitz to go out and play this Grilly to the best of his ability. He doesn't, I'll forewarn you now, he doesn't get a mastery, doesn't get an ace. But that's not the point. You know, effective players don't always need to get aces, guys. Effective players are those who really do put themselves forward and do more than be a team player. They show so many different skills. And this is what he's going to show here. So he's already done 3,500 damage. And he's going to keep going and going and going. Now you could argue, but how about Fujit? This is more of a team player, surely, than an effective player. Well, no. A team player is somebody who does things for the team. They may not be the best player in the team. They may be one of the worst players in the team. So, for example, a tank that puts himself in front of another tank to use his hit points to save a tank that's got low hit points, that's a team player. An effective player is obviously somebody who helps the team, of course, but also shows a high degree of skill in doing so. And what the Silent One Reborn is doing here, showing you how to play a grilly effectively. It's 3-on-3. He's already taken 2 kills. He's already dished out 4,000 damage. What he's now going to do is try and tie up the last 2 TDs on the red team. Forget about the heavy. That's neither here nor there. He hasn't seen it. He doesn't know where it is. But he's got one TD gone, and there's a grilly over there that he can see. He's also got a platoon mate who's on the other side, who's just taken out the IS-4, which was the heavy. So he's got a platoon mate in a grilly, and he's got himself in the grilly here. And what he's now going to do is tie up this grilly to allow his platoon mate to come in and take him out. Again, it's a fine line between teamwork and effective player. This is the thing. And in the end, they win. He shoots over 6,000. That is an effective player, guys. And as you can see, he almost carried the team there. That is why he's effective. Next, we have worthy opponent. Now, that speaks for itself. I mean, the last 2 games, I would have said they were both worthy opponents. I would have said Bellatrix were the worthy opponent, and I would have said the Silent One Reborn was worthy opponents, because they played exceptionally well. And the last one is lucky player. Now, lucky player is incredibly subjective. It's where you bounce somebody you think you should have killed and they end up killing you. Again, it speaks for itself. Now we move on to the areas that really grate people. Provocative communication. That's the first one. Now it says, complaint about offensive behavior and provocations in the chat. What on earth does that mean? What is offensive to you may not be offensive to me. In provocation, well, what does that mean? It's one of those things. So anyway, you've got an example here of what the T-54 has just said. He's called the bat chat something, but then you put it into context and you see the next message flash up in a moment. I came to help you and you ran away. Okay, it was an offensive message. Yes, it was. It all depends on how the recipient takes it. It's not how you dish it out. So if the recipient is offended, then it's a complaint, guys. So all I would say is this: curb your language. You can still get your point across without swearing, without cursing, without using the type of language that people will find offensive. Now, contrast that chat with what this guy's doing here. Idiot, idiot, idiot. That's all he's doing, spamming the word idiot, albeit in German, idioten. Now that is both provocation and offensive. That definitely deserves a red thumb, and is a prime example of offensive and, provocative communication. Next up, unsporting conduct. Well, this one is pretty straightforward. This is about somebody who's breaking the rules. If you tell somebody where your positions are of your teammates, that's unsporting. If you act like this complete muppet in the JP100, Jagdpanther E100, then it's unsporting. I mean, he's just trolling me. And I've shown this video before, but it's useful for this clip. And this is the thing. I mean, unsporting conduct is pretty straightforward. It's somebody who purposely goes out to spoil your game, or to spoil the team's game, or is cheated in some way or another, which is pretty difficult to prove. This one is quite easily complete unsporting conduct. And yeah, he should get a downvote. Last one is missed a tournament battle. Pretty straightforward. Miss a tournament, get a downvote. Now, the bane in everybody's side, inactivity in battle. This is by far the one that is totally misunderstood. And here's a clip. This is me rolling out in the Kampfpanzer 70. And there is a chieftain that has just come into view, and he's going to roll up to that position to use his gun depression to put shots onto me. I focus him and I get an ammo rack. Simple fact of life. I knock him for over 1,000. He got downvoted for that, for inactivity. There's no way that he was inactive. This game has none of this. I'm just doing this game over the top. This is a funny game with my friend Dwarf NZ, who rolled out on the Asian server in a games 3 team. So getting back to inactivity in battle, guys, there are 101 reasons why a person may go AFK. There are 101 reasons why a person may only, gets wasted in the first 2 seconds of the game. That is not inactivity in battle, in my view. Inactivity in battle is where somebody purposely doesn't contribute to the battle through no fault of their own. So, for example, a person who just camps and watches, waits to the end, and then rolls out to tidy everybody up and dies, well, that could be seen as inactivity. AFK, is that really inactivity in battle? There are 101 reasons, as I said, why you could go AFK. It could be a family emergency. It could be an emergency. You could be at work and called into a meeting. It doesn't really matter. But should you really get downvoted for that? I mean, sometimes it's outside of your control. It's misunderstood and therefore misapplied. And it shouldn't be. And there should be clear guidelines as to what inactivity in battle really means. I mean, the poor sod in the Chieftain, that's not inactivity. He got ammo racked in the first, 10, 20 seconds of the game. It's not his fault. How is that his fault? Yeah, he's going to get downvoted, and he probably got a shed load of downvotes from his team for that. And it's not fair, and it shouldn't be. And this is the point with military honor. It is abused, and it shouldn't be. And the problem that you've got is that wargaming have no unified rules realistically to stop the abuse of the military honor system, and that is what grates everybody. Before I downvote any player, I always look at their military honor, and that is an interesting point I want to bring up. Now, throughout this, you can see my military honor, and if you look at my team player and my effective player combined, I have got 2,120 praises. However, I've also got 23 inactivity in battles. Now, my praises show me that I'm not generally an inactive player. So why would you downvote me? Because I must have had a reason to go AFK, for example, or I must have been ammo racked, which was outside my thing. And that's the point I'm trying to prove. Before you start downvoting people, look at their MH, because their history is there for a reason. The history shows you the type of player they are. And if in that one game they're AFK, yet they've got, 2,000 praises of how effective they are as a player, then there may be a reason they're AFK. If they only, if they rolled up and got ammo racked, it's not their fault. So look at their history first before you start downvoting them. And that's the point. This is where it becomes abusive. Because if you looked at it logically, you would see that you wouldn't need to give certain players downvotes because it's not in their nature to be that type of player, so there must be a reason for it. Guys, I can't stress this enough. It is for us, the community, to work the system. In sitting here bitching and moaning all the time that it's a broken system and wargaming need to get rid of it doesn't solve the problem. The problem is we, the players, the community, are not using the system correctly, and we are the first line. Until we start using it correctly, it's still going to be as is. And it's for us, the players, to change our mentality first before we whinge to wargaming, is what I think. Anyway, guys, I've been Fujit. This has been my little soapbox rant on military honor. It's not as bad as you think. We, the players, are abusing it, not wargaming, funnily enough. And it's for us first to address that. If you like what you see, please comment, like below. So if you've got any replays you want to send me, by all means do so at fujitsblitz@gmail.com. And by all means, if you haven't yet, please press subscribe. It's a nice thing to do. So the next time, before you downvote somebody because you're frustrated with their gameplay, look at their military history and think about why you're downvoting them and the reasons why you're downvoting them, and do they really deserve that downvote? And guys, I can't say this enough, curb your enthusiasm in the chat. It's a frustrating game, it gets to you, and you want to just splurt it out. But think about who might be on the receiving end. And until the next time, stay safe out there, have fun on the battlefield, and happy tanking. Because that's what it's all about, having fun and being happy.